wrap my brain around.
Actually, I think I have to
We're
do that.
struggling for.
Six o'clock, so we'll start our meeting. If you would stand for the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tammy, would you do the roll call, please?
Patty Anderson.
Here.
Terry Armagost. Here. John Burke.
Here.
Brady Fight.
Here.
Diane Page. Here. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sundling. Kelly Terwilliger.
Here. Okay, do I have a motion to approve that we waive the reading of the official minutes from November 20th, voting meeting, December 4th, reorganizational meeting, and the December 4th voting meeting?
Make a motion that we waive the reading of the minutes and approve.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay, I don't think we have any public participation, and we have no presentations this evening. So we're going to move on to our board concerns, and at this point, we are thankful that we have a representative from the Richland Township, CJ Adams, that's going to join us. So if you could just give us a little bit of your background, CJ.
Everyone, well, I'm here. Some of you know me, some of you don't. Graduated 2011 here, and still in the area. I'm from Perry Township originally. The reason I came here actually is I have two kids that are going to come here, and I figure I can help. One in my area, and two, help my kids possibly in the future. I'm a union carpenter out of Pittsburgh. Travel all over Washington, PA, north, south, wherever it works at. But I'm here hopefully to help the community out and help the board.
Well, we appreciate you stepping up to take the open position. We need more people who are willing to participate and support the schools by giving some of their time. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask CJ? I've known CJ since he was a little guy. He's from Perry Township, so I think he'll do a great job for us. So at this point, we're going to do a roll call vote to approve CJ as our school board rep for Richland Township. Tammy, would you do the roll call?
Patty Anderson,
Yes.
Carrie Armagos,
Yes.
John Burke,
Yes.
Brady Fight,
Yes.
Diane Page,
Yes.
Jeff Powell,
Yes.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Yes. Okay, thank you, CJ. And I believe at this time, we'll have Tammy give you the oath of office, and as well, John, since you weren't here last time, we thank you the oath.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that you will discharge the duties of your office with fidelity.
I will.
Okay, thanks.
Move forward.
Welcome aboard, folks. We'll try not to make it too rough a ship until you get your sea legs underneath you there. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. If you'll take a look, are there any items you would like to be pulled from the consent agenda and voted on separately? Okay, not hearing any, then we're going to vote for the consent agenda as a whole. Do I have a motion to approve?
So, second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there anything you would like to have a discussion on?
Kelly, just make note that under the conferences and field trips, we did have 2 additions. One was for the 2024 Correctional Education Association Conference that was recently provided to Dr. Myford and myself. I put in for both of us to attend that. It's from State College. It will be paid for through the West 2 grant. You can see the mileage registration and such in front of you this evening. And then we also had a TA Smart Steels conference that was presented to Sarah Black and Jessica Nemelli, who does a lot of steels at the elementary schools up at the IU. And we put that in at $392.20 under the Title II grant. And the only other addition was part of the PARS conference. The registration had increased since I submitted that. It went up roughly $100 from last year, so that registration's at $295. And outside of that, the conferences and field trips remain the same.
Any questions on any of those? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We'll move on to finance and purchase, which will be Patty.
Okay, approve and authorization to pay bills from November, December 23, be distributed.
You can actually lump A,
Can I approve them all?
we usually lump together group A through F.
Okay, I'll approve A through F, motion to approve A through F. Second?
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of those? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Cafeteria report, Stacy.
Happy New Year, everyone. Just very quickly, I have finished my off-site and on-site portion of the administrative review for the 5-year process. And as soon as the state finishes up, closes up, and checks off on everything, I'll give you a full report. But when she was here, she was very happy. She was happy when she left, and I'm hoping that that'll be closed up and done soon. And I'll have a report for you at that time. That's it.
Consideration to approve the budget timeline for 2024-2025. Second, so moved, sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And then I'm going to do I, J.
We're gonna have, I think we're gonna have to do this separate.
Hold on, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, consideration to approve the following 3 state contracts for bidding purpose, PA, co-stars, and this. Also,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
consideration to approve a resolution wherein the area of AC Valley School District will limit tax increase to the state index of 7.1 as attached. So moved.
Okay, so just keep in mind, that's saying we're not gonna go above the index. Because we'd have to go out for referendum. That's not saying we're raising taxes, we're not saying we're raising to that amount. That's just saying that we will not go above that and we will not ask for a referendum on the ballot. Okay? Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the district paying the cost of $260 for Brady Fight to attend the 2024 PSBA International Study Group Zoom meetings held. Or Zoom meetings?
No, that needs to be changed. Take Zoom meetings
held
out.
April 13th through the 20th. That'll be a Germany, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so PSBA is putting together this trip. There's about 20 of us going in total. There's about 11 board directors from across the state, 2 or 3 superintendents, and 1 or 2 career and technical center directors going, and 6 PSBA staff. We're going to Germany for a week to understand how the German education system works, how they push into manufacturing facilities over there, and sort of how they let the kids choose their own path starting in junior high, whether they want to go into college, whether they want to go work with their hands, what they want to do. So the goal is to go over there, learn some practices they have there, and hopefully bring them back and implement them into continuing education hopefully in the coming years.
Thank you, Brady. Okay, did I have a second?
Second.
Second, okay. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Consideration of approving acceptance of bids on 2 new quarter revenue machines and 1 for
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration for M through Q as donations to the school. To support the art department, backpacks for success, backpacks for success or the final. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And then R is just an announcement that the issuance of the county tax.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to personnel. When we get to like M through R, those can kind of, you don't have to read all of those. You can kind of read the first one and lump it together there since it's basically all the same.
There's some things different though.
Are there?
Yeah, some dates and things are different.
Are there different dates?
Yes.
Okay,
So lump the similar ones, I think.
yeah,
And for the-
yes, yeah. I think you can lump most of them. So that you don't have to read every little thing. Carrie, do you want to do personnel?
Sure. I'll try to be quick. Letter A, consideration to approve Sydney Rankin as an emergency long-term substitute teacher to fill the primary level grade substitute teacher position and day-to-day substitute teacher for the spring semester at her current step 2 daily pay rate. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
The only comment I want to make is to CJ, since he is new, you'll have to abstain from this motion. So you're aware.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. You'll get a paper from Tammy that you'll fill out so we have it on record for the abstention. Okay? Thank you, David.
Sure.
Consideration to approve hiring Christy Parks as a full-time 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. light duty custodian at an hourly wage of $19.97. All appropriate documentation is currently on file in the district office. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? She's moving up from a part-time to
3
a
hours,
full-time.
yeah. Like,
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter C, consideration to approve advertising in-house for a part-time 3-hour per day light duty custodian. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Are we
would we need to hire or advertise externally as well?
Yes,
Then do you want me to amend that?
yes, Terry, we should advertise
So
those.
consider to approve advertising in-house and externally for a part-time 3-hour day, for 3 hours per day light duty custodian. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the heavy-duty custodian elementary and high school if needed job description as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter E, consideration to approve hiring Kyle Johnson as a full-time 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. heavy-duty custodian upon receipt of appropriate documentation contingent upon a 60 workday probationary period at an hourly rate of $16.29. Upon completion of the 60 workday probationary period, the hourly rate will be $17.29 per hour. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Why the difference in pay between the, Christie's been here. Christie's been here for quite some time. That's what I was thinking. I'm assuming that's the difference.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, she had worked her way up the scale, and we just slide that over.
Okay.
And then this is per contract, step 1 for a heavy-duty custodian.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter F, consideration to accept the letter of resignation as head junior high boys basketball coach from Leo Marin. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve retroactively hiring Leo Marin upon receipt of all appropriate documentation at a supplemental salary of $5,215 as JV boys basketball coach. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter H, consideration to approve hiring Warren McNanny upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as head varsity girls softball coach at a supplemental salary of $2,194. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I, consideration to approve hiring Ian Runyon upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as assistant junior high boys basketball coach at a supplemental salary of $1,521. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
J, consideration to approve hiring Dave Sherman as head junior high boys basketball coach for the 2023-24 season at a supplemental salary of $2,792. All required documentation is currently on file in the district office. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
This is not gonna be a recurring thing, just for the AD to be the coach. That's my only concern. It's just a one-time thing for this year to help us through, and then with the intention of next year not having the AD as the coach, right?
Correct. As we discussed in our athletic meeting, just due to the timing, we didn't have a head coach at all. And if Dave wouldn't have stepped up, we would not have a program. That's just where it was at. He volunteered to step up and, of course, fill that position then. And until we get somebody, that's willing to take that position, we're going to use Dave.
So are we going to keep advertising?
I think that we should.
Okay.
Hopefully we get some applicant that wants to step into that role.
So do we need to add that we're going to keep advertising that, or?
We're not going to replace him this year, so would we just hold off until next year to see what happens? I mean, I wouldn't see needing to advertise now for next year.
I think the season's over, what, next month?
No, it's just started. Junior high is just starting. Yeah.
Unless that person would want to come in and work with Dave some, if they don't have any
And they would have
experience.
summer practices, things like that. So, even if we advertise now, they wouldn't take over until after the season. We can do it that way.
Okay, So what are thoughts? Do we want to go ahead and advertise since we're advertising for other things?
I'd like to see it advertised.
Okay, I'm in agreement with that as well. Is everybody else okay with that? So do we want to add another motion, or can we just amend that one and say that we're going to advertise for the junior high boys basketball coach for the next season?
We just want to add to the next.
Or let's do it with K, add it to K. Can we do that? Okay. All right, so all those in favor of J? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter K, consideration to approve advertising for a head varsity volleyball coach and head junior high boys basketball coach for the 2024-25 season for basketball. So,
Second.
if they both need to come forward.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter L, consideration to approve advertising for a long-term nurse substitute. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Before we move on, do you want to do any explanations here, David, before we?
Maybe whenever we get to the MOAs at the very end of
Okay.
these, that will be, letter
S and T? Okay,
Yep.
all right.
And then Peter said,
I think I can lump M, N, P, Q. No, it's different.
and it's different dates. I don't know if that matters.
We can vote on them all separately. You just don't have to read them all, Carrie.
Okay. Consideration, well, I'll lump M and P because they are the same. Same dates.
No, there's
Different dates.
And in Peter said.
19, I guess, N and, anyway, okay. Consideration to approve increasing the salary of the business administrator in your store by 20% to compensate for the increased work and responsibility resulting from and associated with the district's operation and education of the students at the WSTU facility. And the remainder as outlined in your packets. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Sure. So some of these, I'm not saying this decision in particular, but some of these positions down through here, I feel we need to add a time constraint to them. It's evident that some people who are getting these pay raises are not putting in the time at the facility, and I'm not okay with spending money, even if it is from a grant, to provide pay raises if people are not going to do the jobs they're asked to do.
Okay, any other discussion? I mean,
I think that's something that we would have to discuss in an executive session individually if there's certain issues with the salary increases or the, the additional monies that are proposed tonight. If anybody has a problem with this, I think we would have to address it specifically in executive session. Am I correct on that?
if it was specific to person, yes, we should. Are you wanting to be specific, or are you wanting to add this to everyone?
No, I don't think everybody needs it, but there are some positions out here that I do believe needs a time constraint tied to it.
Okay.
Positions that would and should be at the facility handling paperwork or with student interaction. But some paperwork, you don't, I feel you don't need to be there to be able to handle the job duties, but others do need to be there in person.
Okay, is that something, though, that the administrators can take care of as far as overseeing those positions? That, do we need to be?
I don't feel that's our job.
I don't think it is either.
I feel like that's David's
That's
job.
David's.
I mean, I kind of agree with you on that if there was an issue, that it would go to David, and David would handle that. And then if there's an issue, it could come to us. Brady, do you want me to break for an executive session to discuss it, or?
If you don't mind, I'd like to say a couple things after that, we can vote on it, that's fine.
Okay, all right, so we'll break for an executive session at this point for personnel. We need to go into the boardroom. Diane doesn't want to know. She's recording it, so don't tell her. I don't know how Tammy didn't go around and eat all those cookies. They look yummy.
We're on our way back.
I'm not supposed to be eating it.
That was such a good game last night, though.
We'll start here in a minute. We have a couple in the restroom. I did want to mention
I was so happy to see
the
them.
ACVEA asked me to let a couple of you folks know. They didn't realize that we needed more cookies, so they didn't forget you, Grace or Lee. They wanted to apologize that you don't have cookies in front of you.
CJ needs some too.
Oh,
You can have-
And-
So it must have been me, it wasn't Grace.
Give Diane a minute. I'm sorry? It does, yes. But I think what they're asking is to be allowed to do. Yeah. But the in-house is the prize. Okay, we are ending the executive session, 6:45. I don't know if you have to keep note time of that or not, but we will move back to our motions. Carrie,
Had a motion and second, and then we discussed, right?
right. Was that, remind me, did we get through all of them, or we were just
No,
on?
we're only on that.
Only on M, that's what I thought. Okay. So all those in favor of approving motion M?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Letter N is consideration to approve increasing the salary for Courtney Chalmers by the same amount. Timelines as noted in the packets. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter O is consideration to approve increasing the salary of Michelle Austin, also for the work at WSTU, and dates and such also listed in the packets. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter P, same consideration for Tammy Thompson. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter Q, also the same for school psychologist Anna Smith. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And letter R, consideration to approve increasing the salary for Dr. McDivitt for his work at WSTU. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter S, consideration to approve the attached MOA with the professional staff relating to services provided to WSTU. So moved.
Second.
Okay, I think Dr. McDivitt has some information to share with us.
Yes, I do appreciate all the work that Diane put into this, as well as Kelly. We've been working with the association as well as Attorney Tuer to develop this MOA, which includes a 20% increase for the high school counselor as well as the cyber school coordinator. There's a couple of other items that I'd like to bring to your attention. The first one is the fact that there will be no involuntary transfers in between the two facilities. We wanted to ensure the integrity of both programs. We also have a portion of the MOA to state that after 5 years, the West 2 teachers can bid into a position down here. If not, they'd be considered for a position just like anybody else. The seniority doesn't necessarily mix into it. We also addressed the additional wage increase for those teachers up there of $8,000. And if the grant goes away and the district does not get reimbursed for these premiums, that the salary would come down to the next future step. So they won't continue to get the increase, but they're not going to lose any money in between that. We'll keep them standard until their step catches up to them. And the fact that with that additional $8,000, they won't supersede the top step of the scale. So they'll have their own sliding scale to work to the top, but will not supersede that. And then also the West 2 teachers up there will put in the same amount of time as the AC Valley teachers, beginning August 1st and finishing June 30th, 4-day work weeks, 3-day weekends, and a number of vacation time mixed in there. And then also the support that the cyber school coordinator and the counselor puts into that. If it's outside of their regular 183 days, then they'll get paid a per diem. And that'll be approved through the superintendent's office prior to that work. Diane, did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Thank you, Rico. And then I'll touch base on the support staff in the next motion.
Okay. And keep in mind, the union will be voting on this as well
Yes.
to approve it or not approve it. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter T, consideration to approve the attached MOA with the support staff related to services provided to WSTU. So moved.
Second.
The support staff MOA was much simpler. There's just the 2 technicians that will send up there. They'll get the additional 20% wage increase as long as we're able to perform those administrative duties up there on a regular basis. If they were to work outside of their contracted year, then they'd be considered for a per diem rate as well. But unlike the other 2 from the professional staff, we do work year round with our technicians, so we'll try to schedule their time up there appropriately and be aware of their vacation time in the summertime. And that's all for the support staff MOA.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter U, consideration to approve Melissa Morrison, district-wide secretary, receiving a $500 per year stipend for sub-calling for custodians. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter D, consideration to approve the request from employee number 372 for paid maternity leave, utilizing all emergency sick and personal days. Once all emergency sick and personal days are exhausted, requesting to use family medical leave to cover additional time needed off work for the remainder of the 2023-24 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And letter W, consideration to accept the letter of retirement dated January 9th, 2024 from Wanda Van Kulik, part-time cafeteria worker effective February 5th, 2024 as attached. Wanda has been an employee with the district since November 2018. So moved.
Second.
Can we amend that and add that we need to advertise for that position as well?
Do we want to make that a separate motion?
Either way, whichever way you prefer, Carrie.
No, I don't care. Yes, we can amend it to say that we also need to advertise.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, thank you, Carrie. We'll move on to instructional services. Jeff, do you mind?
Elementary report.
Well, since we've been back from Christmas, the teachers and our specialists have mostly been focusing on the diagnostic testing for mid-year. That gives us a lot of data that we need in order to see what kids are progressing, what kids aren't progressing, what kinds of interventions we might need to do with them. And one of the programs that we implemented last year was Handwriting Without Tears, and I kind of wanted to update you on that. In the beginning, we had it grant funded, and then we chose to district fund it this year. So I kind of wanted to let you know how that's going so that you kind of understand that program. It is our second year of implementation with K through 3. We did add 4th grade this year when the 4th grade teachers expressed an interest in being able to continue the program into their grade. In talking with Mrs. Shimp, our certified occupational therapy assistant who really helps run this program, I asked her how high the program goes, and she said the highest it goes is 5th grade, and there is a cursive 5th grade program. We do not have that at this time. With the program, every student receives 2 workbooks, and I brought a couple copies of those tonight. The first workbook focuses on their print or cursive practice. So it's like a book that they write in, to do their letters. And the second book is one of the things I really like about this program. This is 2nd grade, by the way. It is a writing prompt one. So when they get through learning all their letters, they move to the second book, where they practice their letters by doing little writing prompts. This one's about soccer and baseball or whatever. So it starts it for them, and then they have to finish it. So it's not just about writing the letters in handwriting, but also about writing sentences and building more from that handwriting. With the program, we also get a lot of manipulatives like little chalkboards and chalk, desk strips for their desks so they can copy, wall cards, magnetic boards. So it is a very full program that we're getting. Every teacher gets a license that provides them with a digital book, demonstrations they can use in their classroom, little songs that the kids learn to sing as they're making the letters. They can print off blank forms for extra practice as they need, all from that digital license. It also includes a free screening tool, which Mrs. Schimpf uses to screen all the students K-4. She can do that up to 5 times a year, and it's dependent on their needs. If they're at or above where they need to be, they don't get screened as often as a student who maybe needs some more intensive help. That data is then used to determine what classroom students and or skills they focus on in our tiered interventions. So within Handwriting Without Tears, we do have a tier 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 being the supports and resources provided to the whole classroom and staff. Tier 2 is our small groups. They're pulled out to focus on specific areas of concern, usually like concerns. And then Tier 3 are students who need one-to-one support, often as outlined in IEPs. I did put at your desks a data table that Mrs. Schimpf worked up for you that just shows where our kids K-4, how many were screened initially at the beginning of the year, where they were at the end of the first 9 weeks after intervention, and then at the end of the second 9 weeks after intervention. She did a table and also a bar graph so that you can kind of see that and see how the intervention needs decrease as we go. On the back of that, I included some comments that she gave to me, just sort of things that she's seen as she's been working with the program, some teacher feedback she's gotten. Teacher feedback has been very positive all around. They are seeing the improvements in handwriting as well as some of their other fine motor skills. There's more consistency with legibility, and that's probably due to the common language that we're using K-4. So now our first and second, third grade students have all had this for 2 years. And the teachers this year are using the same language their teachers last year used. So I think that's helping as well. One of the interesting items we've seen is a lot of students who have struggled with printing are excelling with the cursive in this program. Some of them just like it because they think it's like a secret language. But there are some students who just struggle with that print, and she did include that in this packet. In addition to this packet, there is one sample each with no names on it, but of kindergarten students through 4th grade from beginning of the year to end of year, same student comparison. And the very last one, the 4th grade one, I believe, is a student who was kind of struggling with print and spacing. And then the second sheet is their cursive. So you can really see the difference in how they've taken to that cursive piece. So something about cursive for them has really stuck. The MTSS committee that I work with, we're including the Handwriting Without Tears in the curriculum alignment that we're working on right now, using that as putting in that alignment, how this fits in with all the goals that we have for the teachers to meet. What goals does this meet? And just one last note, there is a state representative in Pennsylvania, Joseph Adams, who is seeking support for a bill requiring instruction in cursive handwriting to be taught in the appropriate grade levels. Apparently there are 21 states that already require this. He cited in his memo for adoption, his 3 reasons are the cognitive benefits, supporting developmental milestones, and practical applications. His quote was, "The linked flowing motions of cursive writing help reinforce neural connections and build hand-eye coordination in developing brains. Students who learn cursive may show improved language fluency, enhanced creativity, and better recall." And we had talked about when we were adopting this, that research does show that different areas of the brain are stimulated with respect to executive functioning, fine motor skills, and working memory. One other thing I found was the brain's better stimulated with self-generated movements like writing during learning than the same brain stimulation during the practice of typing. They're not finding that it has that stimulation when you're just typing. So those hand movements are making a difference with brain function. So if that bill gets passed, we are ahead of the game. So that's good news.
Do you happen to know what House Bill number that was?
I did not write the number down, but I do have the article that I can show you after the meeting and let you check into it. I don't see it jumping out at me right here either, but I'll share it with you afterwards for you. And then these are here too, if anybody would like to take a look at the booklets afterwards. And that was my report for today.
Thank you, Lori. Jordan?
I only have a couple of items. Not too long ago, the Department of Education through the state of Pennsylvania passed Senate Bill 843. And what that is it requires all school districts within the state of Pennsylvania to provide a course in finance, personal finance, to our students. And I think across the board, that was very, very welcome. I think everybody understands the need for students to understand about finance, specifically budgeting, saving money, credit management, investing, and understanding loans and interest rates and how that can affect your own personal budgets. The caveat for that is that the school district has to make it a credit-bearing course, and we currently don't have a course like that. Now, this isn't a requirement until 26-27 school year, so we have a little bit of time. But my staff, Mrs. Raybuck and Mrs. Patton in particular, are currently looking at the courses that we offer. And we do sprinkle some of those things throughout a number of different courses, but we're looking at possibly pulling all that together and offering it as a credit-bearing course along with the career course that we have in the 11th grade. So we're going to be looking over that over the next probably 6 months before school's out this year, and hopefully have a curriculum that the board can take a look at. Recently, we had another mentor meeting between our staff and their mentors. We will have one more mentor meeting before the graduation projects, which will be April 26th. I have a number of students, 8 students to be specific, that I'm a little bit worried about, and I will be sending letters to their parents, just updating their parents on where they are at as far as their career shadowing and community service. Finally, I met with my ELA teachers, and similar to what Lori does in the elementary with her MTSS, we have been trying to identify specific skill areas where our students are lacking, especially in 7th and 8th grade. The idea behind it is to look at multiple points of data, not relying on simply one assessment that can inform us as to where our students are at. Last week, we identified that around 20% of our 7th and 8th grade students are struggling with basic reading skills. And so because of that, we're going to work with trying to figure out how we can, outside of our regular schedule for 7th and 8th graders, how we can attack these deficiencies in our students' ability to read. What is interesting is in identifying those students, that 20% that are struggling with the reading, we look across all areas of their contents and we notice that they're also struggling in all the other coursework. So we are hopeful that if we can fix those issues and get students back up to where they can read at grade level, then in other content areas, they will have a little more success as well. Finally, we are just starting the process of scheduling and budgeting for next year. So that should prove interesting over the next couple of months. That's my report. Thank you.
Western Secure Treatment Unit report, please.
Thank you. I did write a little bit of a lengthy report this month, which I imagine you'll get after the details, but I'll go through kind of what I wanted to express to you in the report, and that's mostly that we do have 21 students enrolled right now. We have 1 student still enrolling every week until we get to 60, so we're up to 21, which means that I checked today. I thought today it was going to be switching to 3 units. It must be sometime later this month. So our entire schedule will change because instead of 2 units of 12, we'll be up to 3 units. And that's just kind of a reflection of the fact that the program will just continue to change and evolve. And those of us in the program have to be kind of comfortable with the continual change. That's how a new program comes about. And I did say in this report I wrote, I know we're working with a school district, and when I asked around, the district has been in existence since I was told 1964. Things changed and we solidified as a district, but Westview has been in existence since November. So we're going to have some changes. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be uncomfortable at times. And that's just how it goes. I feel like at the facility, we are working very well with Rite of Passage. I meet with them every morning now. The leaders of Rite of Passage work together to keep everyone safe and to do the best for the students. And we are in the process of making some adjustments for academics, but I think in a real positive way. We do have, as far as district procedures, we put a procedure in place for acknowledging students. So when a student comes, we have to talk to the local school district they came from and get them to acknowledge in order to do the billing. We have a 90% acknowledgement rate right now, which I didn't think would happen for maybe a year. So we already have almost all of our students acknowledged, and we've started to receive payments already. So we're so far ahead in that way that it's really a positive we can kind of check off the list. So now we're working on, special education and what academics might change in the classroom, what that looks like. And I feel like I really was blessed with being able to reach out to some of the other principals in corrections facilities. So I filed the report for Title I for funding for next year. And there are actually just 5 other correction facilities that we kind of are in the same category as in Pennsylvania. And none of them have a school run by a school district. So we are really the first one like this. But in working with the other principals, I learned that there is something called a corrections diploma. And that might really help us with setting goals for our students and how they will earn that diploma. Because we've spent a lot of time trying to count credits, and are they going to get one here? Are they going to get one from their home district? And then we learned there's a whole separate diploma track we could be using, but the Department of Education never told the group that was working with them to set up this facility. So there are things that just evolve and are a happy outcome, and we're working toward them. But in the meantime, I'm recognizing this is a small community. If you hear something negative or you're concerned about, you're always welcome to reach out to me. I want to be as transparent as possible in setting up the program. We are working really hard to do positive things there. And I am proud of how we're working with Rite of Passage, because I feel like to this point, we've cooperated well with them, and that is to the benefit of the students. So.
Lee, can I ask you a quick question? When is open house rescheduled for?
Yes, I'm sorry, that was at the end of my report. It is tentatively April 3rd. So, April 3rd, just count on snow. It sounds like that'll be our luck, but they've said April 3rd.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And federal programs report?
We were just awarded the SRSA grant, which we applied for quite a while ago, and that's the Small Rural School Achievement Grant. That was in the amount of $24,293. Right now, the group is just getting ready for an audit that we have in the next couple months on ESSER 2, and that is our main focus right now, getting ready for that audit. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. And
What
Dr.
that grant money be used for? Sorry, Jeff.
Lori, could you touch on that better with it's the stuff from the Title I teachers?
Of the materials that we ordered? Yeah. So we have a program called YouFly that we use for phonics instruction. And it requires a lot of manipulatives. And when we purchased books last year, we just got the books with some grant money that was left at the end of the year. And some teachers started out beginning of the year piloted it. They kind of made their own, went out and purchased their own things and made their own manipulatives. Now that we're expanding it up through third grade, there's a lot that needs to happen, and during the school year, they don't have as much time to create that stuff on their own. And with this grant, we were able to purchase those things rather than the teachers have to. Great, thanks. I mean, I don't know if that's what the whole grant's being used for, but we did put it in order.
That was the majority of the portion, and then the math specialist had some items that he also needed for his, so between the two, that was the entire grant.
Thank you. Dr. McDevitt, district report.
Thanks, Jeff. I have a couple school code updates. As we know, on December 13th, the budget for the 23-24 school year was fully passed. It was House Bill 301 and Senate Bill 843, and I'm just going to provide a few updates. There was an extension of Act 90 or Act 91, which helps school districts with fulfilling needs within the substitute teacher. So we can use college students have 60 or more credits, classroom monitors, and get creative with how we use subs. Part of that act, there was also mental health grants out there. So in the past, we've received about 100 grand for mental health support. This year, we should have about the same coming in. There was $100 million appropriated for that. Each school district will get 100 grand plus whatever their ADMs account for. CTCs will get 70,000, and the same eligibility remains as far as last year. In addition to that, we have safety and security grants coming in. There's $15 million appropriated, and each school is going to get between $30,000 and $45,000. I am meeting with the federal programs team tomorrow, and we're going to take a look at the money application, and then we'll share that with the safety committee and have a discussion. But right now, we do need to upgrade our camera system. That's something that's aging on us. Not only the cameras themselves, but also the equipment to help to operate that. So those are a few things that we're looking at. And then we have a lot of supports in here currently for mental health. There's also targeted safety grants, which we'll be discussing as well. They're competitive. We can use them to address school violence, including security equipment, costs associated with training, and compensation for security personnel, which I'm a strong advocate for. There's also money in there for environmental repair grants. There's $75 million, and it's a 50% match. So if we wanted to do a project down here, we'd have to keep that in mind. Just an example of eligible projects are remediating environmental hazards, including lead and water systems, as well as asbestos or mold. And then there's also a public schools facility grant out there. There's $100 million appropriated for that, and it's a 25% match. And each school can go up to $5 million for their grant, and that could be used for roof, windows, HVAC, plumbing, energy savings, health, internet connectivity, and demolition. I'm not sure if we're willing to dive into any kind of projects right now, but just keep that in mind as we move forward. And then Senate Bill 843 has a number of different items in there. It extends special education funding. There's a teacher mobility contract to try to get teachers from outside of the state to move back in. As Dr. Jordan said, there's a economic education and personal finance course required, and that's going to be implemented for the 26-27 school year. And then, of course, there's a hot topic of House Bill 1507, which is the 990 hours and 180 days, and it has changed to 900 hours required for the elementary, 990 hours required for the high school, or 180 days. So that's something we can think about down the road. With all that being said, we did meet with the Career Center last week, and we're adjusting our calendars, and I'll have a calendar for the 24-25 school year in front of you in February. We're trying to closely align that. I do urge caution for the district to eliminate the 180 days. only because there's child care concerns with, a lot of our working families. That 900 hours and 90 hours, maybe we can make adjustments to that down the road. But the concern I have with shortening up the school day is the amount of time for the kids to go to the career center. They need 1,080 hours, I believe, for a program completer up there. So we'll continue to learn more about that, but we do have some flexibility with that bill. And then as I finish off today, I'd just like to make note that we did have an 80-day today for professional development. We started off with physical fitness for a half hour, then we had an Act 55 22 safety training overview. I provided the staff, everybody was in here today, the concept behind Act 55 and ongoing safety and security supports. We also talked about ethics training, which is new and is required for all school districts. And we had a number of scenarios and a rich discussion associated with that. The afternoon, the high school teachers did training in the MTSS supports, and then the elementary teachers had ongoing science book training, and then they also did their own MTSS. So there's a lot of work going on within the district today. The kids had a long weekend, and we're going to be up and running tomorrow. And Jeff, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And our student board representative, Grace. Do I skip one? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Consideration to approve the 2023-2024 school year Allegheny Clarion Valley School District Health and Safety Plan as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? I believe that has to be updated every 6 months.
That's correct.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the PSBA Principles for Governance and Leadership as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and this is just something that PSBA recommends all schools promote those principles and that we approve of each year. And we have one that we will all sign before we leave tonight. So, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Enrollment numbers for phase, we need to approve that.
No, just an FYI.
So we have student board representative report. Grace.
The end of the second grading period was last Thursday. Many of the students that do not have any discipline referrals during the second quarter, they will be able to participate in the PBIS reward. So we're not sure what that is yet, but it's probably going to be something that is winter related. In past years, they've gone to one of the local snow tubing facilities that offers snow tubing. Done that, and a lot of kids have enjoyed that. As for sports, the winter sports are going well. The AC Valley Union competitive cheer team, they were first at the small division class at the District 9 competitive cheer competition over the past weekend. So the cheer team will be advancing to the state competition in Hershey, and that will be from January 26th to January 27th. Also last week, Core Bible was able to represent the AC Valley Band at the district band. Another event that happened in January was Winter Carnival. So this is an event where many students were excited to spend their last day before winter break, and they got to participate in Winter Carnival. So this also gives many clubs and other student-run organizations the opportunity to participate in the event, and also, make money off of that to support their clubs. And as for the senior trip, so as of right now, there are 26 seniors that are interested in attending the trip. All seniors that demonstrated interest are required to have at least $300 in their accounts, so that the class officers can go ahead and proceed in purchasing the plane tickets. And we plan on working with the airline company this week during our meeting on Wednesday to finalize our tickets. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions?
I have a comment. Grace, could you talk a little bit about your acceptance at Brown University, the process you went through and what you plan on studying, please?
Yes. So I learned on December 15th that I was admitted to Brown University through the early decision application round. So I plan on concentrating in biochemistry and molecular biology. And in addition to that, I also learned that I was accepted into their pre-med program. So this also grants me acceptance into their medical school, so I don't have to take an MCAT after I complete my undergraduate degree. I'll be able to enroll in medical school.
Great
All right,
job.
what do you got before? Good work.
School police report.
You should have it in front of you. I don't want to bore you with the details, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. We will move on to policy. Brady, would you do policy?
Sure, consideration to approve the first reading of policies number 200, 202, 217, 254, and 810 as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of those policies? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to facilities, Diane.
Do you have a maintenance report, please?
We conducted the interviews for the heavy duty custodian the past couple of weeks, and the nominations interview. We work on snow removal a little bit outside, and I do have the new domestic hot water heat exchangers to be scheduled for Thursday this week to start that replacement, and that will be a 1 to 2 day job. So it should be done this week, and I'll be back up and operating. And Wednesday, I signed up for a seminar in Pittsburgh, free of charge. That'll just be like landscape and sports turf field, kind of learn about the disease, fertilizing, different procedures. So I hope we gain some knowledge of that to work on our football field and, outside grounds.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Would you also do transportation?
Sure. Consideration to retroactively approve 2023-2024 day contract with Carolyn's Bahamas for the 2020 Kia Sportage number 0975 is attached.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Is this for just another band contract, or is it like an extracurricular contract?
It's a regular van contract. Her other driver hit a deer and totaled the car, so they had to do the van, the same run, just the van, so we had to do a new car. We approved the van, I believe, in December. So once the van was approved, we had to do a contract.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the request from Dan Myers Transportation Incorporated to add a 2019 Honda Odyssey number 1216 to her fleet. So
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we'll move down to miscellaneous. Do we have a career center report? I know it's in our packet. Is there anything you want to highlight, Brady?
We had a reorganizational meeting. Todd Macbeth from Clarion area is our board president for the year. The vice president and Stacy Thompson from Keystone is our treasurer. There's probably about half the people there were new board members, so it's nice to see some new faces, but nice to see some new faces and people get involved. They're going to a couple of different skills competitions for their respective classes that they're enrolled with there. And I believe that was about it. David or Jeff, you guys have anything to add?
Just the fact that we're going into contract negotiations with our professional staff.
Right. I'm on the team for that with 2 other board members that we're starting that, I believe, next week. We'll start meeting with that.
Okay. Thank you. Carrie, do you have anything you want to highlight for us from the IU?
Not really, we did hire several personnel, so we whittled away at the lengthy list of vacancies within the IU. I think as of last month, we still have 16 different openings. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but nothing more significant.
Thank you. Okay, we have a note there of some correspondence that was received. Is there anything we need to know about that particular, Dr. McDivitt, or?
No, it was just a requirement that they're modifying a plot of land on Kermit County.
Okay. We have not had a technology committee update or meeting since since our last meeting. How about athletic committee?
It was all related to personnel.
Okay. Football field renovation committee.
Nothing.
Finance committee?
We have not met, but as we move into preparing the 24-25 school year budget, then we will be meeting here in the near future.
Any old business we need to look at? Any new business?
I just wanted to mention, after Grace had talked about the cheer team finishing first at P9, Explore Clarion did a live stream, so if anyone did not have an opportunity to watch our girls, we were first on the mat. They did a great job, and you can go back and watch it on Explore Clarion. They did a fantastic job.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Okay, we are, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Great night. Thank you.